has a new survey comparison tool that is going to bridge a gap that we've had between the way that people sometimes want information out of our State Library Administrative Agency survey data and the way that we actually present it. It's a dashboard online that people can access from a browser window, and it basically allows them to pull up different data elements that are of interest to them and displays them in sort of a colorful chart and graph format. We know that this data that we've collected for years is really rich and has lots of answers to questions that people have out in the field. But in the past, they've not been able to answer those questions without cross-referencing our PDF reports. Let's say a state wants to compare itself to a neighboring state or a state with a similar population size. They would have to cross-reference back and forth in a PDF from those different tables. And now they can just select the different states with a click of a button and have the comparison graphs pop right up in front of them. So it's really going to streamline the kinds of answering of questions that states have had in the past. And for example, we know that these state library administrative agencies have all varying sizes of staff and different budgets, and those are the kinds of different comparisons that states can make. There are some really typical questions that we get about state library administrative agencies, like which part of the government they're housed in. And you can see at a glance from this tool where that happens, whether a state is part or a state library is part of their education department or their Secretary of State's office. We also often hear, how much is a state library spending on databases? Well, this tool will give you that information at a glance. You can find out whether the state is subgranting or not and how many grants it made in recent years. So it's really giving us a lot of rich information that in the past you would have had to comb through a lot of report data to find. So the SLAA Survey Comparison tool makes evident the kind of data that we've been collecting for years in a very user-friendly format. It's like an infographic on demand, customized for your inquiring mind. The State Library Administrative Agencies are one of IMLS's most important partners. They help us administer about 2/3 of our grant-making budget every year, and they often provide an invisible layer of support for libraries across the nation. So we are really excited to feature their data and to help make their work more apparent.